for the crisis on the border. Take a listen to some of the things he had to say.
I am calling on the Secretary to resign. He cannot and must not remain in that position. If Secretary Mayorkas does not resign, House Republicans will investigate every order, every action, and every failure will determine whether we can begin impeachment inquiry.
All right, you saw one of the lawmakers right there over his left shoulder. Accompanying him, Florida Congresswoman Cammack, who joins us now from El Paso, Texas. Congresswoman, always good to see you.
Hey, Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. First, just tell me, what was the goal of the trip today, and what did you find?
Well, the point of our visit today was first and foremost to tell these men and women who wear the Border Patrol uniform, thank you. This week, we will celebrate Thanksgiving with our loved ones. And as you know, being the wife of a first responder myself, I have seen many of our first responders and law enforcement officers and Border Patrol agents spend time away and holidays away from their families. So we wanted to say thank you, but we also wanted to do some fact finding and see for ourselves that the border, again, is not secure. Talk to the agents themselves, get feedback, and really understand what needs to be done. Now, we have been up and down the border for the last 2 years in different sectors, and each sector is unique and has its own challenges. Today, we saw tent encampments, as your viewers can see, and it was predominantly Venezuelans who were there waiting to come across the border, and that is something that they deal with on a daily basis. But this is really to send a message to Alejandro Mayorkas. He has 42 days to resign, or we begin the investigations that then tee up the impeachment proceedings.
So let me ask you about that, because I thought McCarthy's words were interesting there. Some people have questioned, not some people, I know that there were some Republicans questioning his commitment to that, and clearly he settled that today. But the problem now is that if House Republicans go through and impeach him, in order to be removed from office, it would take the Senate that is now, as we know, controlled by Democrats. So if you're Mayorkas, one, do you rest a little bit easy? And number two, at the end of the day, I think the question is, we all know that Mayorkas, for the most part, is just carrying out what President Biden wants him to do, right?
Yeah, so I serve on the House Homeland Security Committee, and as someone who has had the opportunity to question Alejandro Mayorkas, it's like trying to nail Jello to the wall. He's exceptionally well-versed and practiced at trying to evade and duck and deflect. But what we are doing by teeing up these investigations is laying out the framework that would become the basis for an impeachment. And once you've done the investigations and you've seen the blatant dereliction of duty, you've seen where he has absolutely lied to Congress and the American people, where he's gone against the wishes of the agents, where he has ignored key information and facts on the ground, it's pretty impossible at that point for the Senate to ignore it. And that, in their position, that becomes a political football for them, because then they have to make a decision. Are they going to ignore the facts as they are, or are they going to try to explain the over 100,000 fentanyl deaths? Are they going to explain the suicide rate that is skyrocketing amongst the Border Patrol agents? Are they going to be able to explain all of these deaths of migrants as they're coming across? How are they going to explain all of these things when we have laid them out so clearly? So there's a strategy involved, and I think that this is a very deliberate and smart move to make sure that we actually get the end result of what we need, which is Alejandro Mayorkas removed and a message sent to the administration that we will not tolerate an open border.
Yeah, I do think these trips are super helpful because they call attention to the border and they get coverage. So I applaud you guys for doing this. I do want to play something that the White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said today, because she says, well, the House Republicans don't have a plan. Let me play you what she said.
The question that we have for Kevin McCarthy, who's soon to be Speaker McCarthy, what is his plan? What is he doing to help the situation that we're seeing? What is his plan? He goes down there and he does a political stunt, like many Republicans do, that we have seen them do, but he actually is not putting forth a plan to help us, deal with an issue that we're all seeing, that you all are reporting.
So aside from that being one of the most pathetic responses I've ever heard, I mean, they are in charge. They run the executive. They run the Border Patrol. That's pretty pathetic. So let's at least give you a chance. What is the Republican plan?
Well, and Sean, I think you and I are on the same track here. Did she just admit that they have a problem, that there is actually a problem at the border? Because it kind of sounded like she admitted it right there on the spot. But the funny part to me is, as you pointed out, the Democrats have had the House, the Senate, and the White House, and we have seen record numbers of gotaways. We have over 1.4 million illegals in the country today just from this last year. This is a crisis. It's a national security crisis, a humanitarian crisis. It is a public health crisis. We could go through the list. But do we have a plan? Absolutely. And I think Kevin McCarthy laid it out perfectly today. Not only are we going to, on day one, fire 87,000 IRS agents, we're going to then take that money, give those resources to the Border Patrol agents. We're going to make sure that they have the financial resources that they need. Then we're going to actually enforce the laws that are on the book. And if Mayorkas won't, we will. And if he can't, then we're going to put someone in his place that will actually do the job that he has taken an oath to do. So there has been a plan in place. And I don't know what she's reading or what she's opting to omit from her remarks, but it's been clear that we've had a plan when we rolled out the Commitment to America that started with border security and enforcing the laws on the book, getting the resources to the Border Patrol agents, supporting all the technology and the resources that they need in order to have the infrastructure to stop this flow of illegals at the border. This is a major issue, and it's going to require multi-steps to get there. But the fact of the matter is Republicans have a plan, and Democrats have actually ignored it this entire time, and they haven't even shown up. And Sean, if you care about an issue, you show up. Where's Biden? Where's Harris? Where's Mayorkas? They're not here. We are.
I'm going to give you one suggestion. I think you write down exactly what you just said, send it to the White House and go, here's our plan. Now you have no excuses. That's just my 2 cents. I have 20 seconds left. I got to ask you one last question.
I'll have to do
Ilhan Omar, Kevin McCarthy is saying that he's going to kick her off the Foreign Affairs Committee. And she is now claiming it's race related, that's why Republicans in the House are going after her. Are you guys concerned about that line of questioning, that the media is going to latch on and say the only reason you're going after her is because of race?
No, Sean. I mean, and to your point about sending that plan down to the White House, I'll have to write it out in crayon so they can understand it. But the thing about Ilhan Omar, of course, whenever they get an answer that they big letters, whenever they get an answer that they don't like, they immediately pull the race card. So they can scream and complain and kick their feet and stomp their feet all they want. The fact of the matter is that she is one of the most anti-American legislators that we have in Congress. She has no business being on the Foreign Affairs Committee. And I support Kevin McCarthy's move to remove her from that committee.
That's awesome. Congratulations, and thank you for joining us and being down on the border, calling attention. I know you got 100 other places you could be, especially on this holiday week. So thank you for calling attention to this important issue.